Are y'all ready for round two? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's see where we were. Okay, so first of all, before I go share screen, um, number one, there was some in that first segment. Dawn drops that we were in a triangle. I kind of felt like that's how they were positioning it. So I agree with you, Dawn. Yes, you and Tim were putting me in a triangle. You guys were fighting over my mind share because you saw me as an influential Orange County activist, and both of you were trying to manipulate me. Okay. Oh God, what was the other thing? I'll think of it later, probably. But he kept dropping the word relationship. He kept talking about how he was on a break, like fucking Ross from Friends. He was on a break while he was on that road trip. The other thing, one other thing is that I'm not the only person that he had an affair with on that particular trip. He told me when I got there that he had already had an affair with somebody else earlier in the trip. I'm not the only person. Okay, so let's go. All right. I think I'm share screening at this point. So let's maximize this. Let's do some more commentary, shall we?
Stuff. Generally, when we were focused on a job, everything was great. Focusing on an article, focusing on a thing. There's a task. There's a thing. As soon as she had this. I got her a social media. This is something she never says. I got her a political job, but like a really well-paying one, where she basically did nothing. She did a lot of social media. She did work. I'm not like she did work. I don't want to dismiss.
Dawn, it's literally on my LinkedIn profile. I literally talk about it all the time. I mentioned that I worked on the Jess Selmont campaign all the time. I don't know why he just randomly makes up fucking lies about people. It's ridiculously stupid because it's on my LinkedIn profile.
The actual stuff that she did, because she actually is very good at it, which I don't mean to be so complimentary as someone that's harassing me so much, but I think at the same time it's really important that when you're having struggles with somebody to remember the things that are positive about them. Remember the things that, why did I believe in them at the moment.
That is literally him like advising me right now. He's trying to make me like think of the positive things that he contributed to me. And it's really hard to do that when he's so abusive to me.
And how did that fall apart? And then how can we understand that better? And that's, if anything, like you want to bring into the show, you want to talk to people about, you want to tell people, how can we improve and learn from this moment? Because, we have to have that student-teacher vibe going on. So we go on this trip. It wraps up finally. I'm staying in Florida to work on the campaign. And she gets this cooked up story about us having sex and doing all this crazy stuff. And she takes it to an all-female chat where I'm basically like so sick of her. And she basically tries to turn these women against me. She tries to spin them out that, I'm this lying deceiver who is, doing all these wrong things, and how I'm misrepresenting and misleading, and I needed to be honest about who I am. And also the non-binary thing she has a really hard time with. Like I have tons of messages of her, like from challenging my non-binary to making fun of my wife for being non-binary. There's been a lot of hateful messages since all this happens.
Not true. Not true. Number one, okay, so let's talk about this non-binary status. First of all, I was incredibly open and accepting of this the entire time. Even when he told me some very personal things that he was doing to accommodate himself. Why do I keep using he, him pronouns? It's because he told me straight up that that was okay for me to do that. And he told that for everybody within his inner circle that he was okay with that. But secondly, when he was watching me get stalked at the KDEM San Francisco convention, and he's 6'3". He's very strong. I know this personally. But regardless, all you have to do is like say something, see something, say something, right? He watched me get stalked at this convention. And when I asked him, why didn't you say something? He said, bro code. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not going to accept that you were somehow tapping into your feminist side when you're using the expression bro code to explain away why you didn't prevent Tim from stalking me throughout that convention. Secondly, yes, your wife calls you Brandon. She has never accepted this. You have totally told me that that has been a point of contention for the two of you, that she is unwilling to accept that you're non-binary. So if you're willing to live in that situation and you're willing to use toxic masculinity against me, no, I'm not going to support your manipulative claim whenever you have a hard time on social media that you're like, you guys are just coming after me because I'm non-binary. Shut the fuck up, Dawn.
So that definitely makes me forget the good things. So basically, where are we in the story? So basically, I'm kind of like, why are you doing this? Even if hypothetically, right? Let's say hypothetically, and I'll just do this. Even if hypothetically, we did have sex, I would still not talk about it. It's not in my style. It's like right now on Twitter, they're trying.
He just told you that yes, we did have a fling, but he doesn't want anyone to know. That's literally what he just told you.
Trying to say that I sexually harass. She is trying to say, she has started a rumor, and we'll get there in a second, that I sexually harass women on social media. There is not a single sexual text message of me on social media, like, unless maybe you go to my AOL account when I was 14.
I have not said that. I've said that he's verbally abusive to women, which can be easily proven.
And I guarantee, if you can find that, good for you. We are putting a thing that I probably did when I was a teenager, but now, like, I've been an adult for a long ass time. So social media, like, I've been married for 10 years. Like, even if I were hypothetically a cheater, I wouldn't create any sort of material that is going on.
Of course not, because cheaters don't want people to know that this is actually happening.
Like, that doesn't make sense. At this point, somebody would have caught up with my wife, who is on social media, who posts on my stuff. I only took her down when the Anon 2016 stuff got real nasty and people were threatening her. So
people have literally come up, like he said it earlier in this, even just this live stream. He said that people were approaching his wife with allegations that he's cheating on her. They have approached his wife. She chooses to be complicit with this bullshit.
Which is back to where we are right now. Actually. And that's really important to preface that we're coming back around, that tonight things have gotten really, really, really hostile. So we had this cooling down period after she came up with this stuff. And, you know, I didn't have a lot of allies. I didn't have a lot of people to work with. So, you know, as she slowly kind of stopped saying this stuff, we sort of got, you know, and it was in a small group of people. So I was like, okay. And so still needed to get to the California convention. Fundraising was garbage. And she was like, hey, we'll go. We made that video, got a bunch of views. It was a real good time. We made it at the first stop, which was just outside of wherever we were. It's just outside of the city. And then we went inside of the city, and
that was the first hotel I fucking paid for, by the way. Like, he didn't pay for anything that weekend. I paid hundreds of dollars for him to fucking tag along to the KDM San Francisco convention. He raised funds through a GoFundMe and did not contribute a single penny to my expenses towards the hotel, towards gas, towards anything. I paid for meals for him. This dude is such a grifter. I can't even with this guy. But yeah, he did a live stream on like day one. And he was careful to illustrate that we were sleeping in two beds because we were no longer in a fling at this point. I was just helping him out. But he took such advantage of me over that weekend, and he was such a dick to me. I mean, and I spent hundreds of dollars letting him tag along.
And for the next two nights, the first night was fine. We had a good time. You know, I think I was still smoking cigarettes at the time. We just smoked some cigarettes, and that was it. Nope, whatever. Had that video. We made that video. Totally happy.
Totally untrue. He was so fucking high. He was so fucking high. that he was staring at me. He was visibly getting chills through his body, and then kept rambling about his wife because he was trying to convince himself that he wasn't going to have sex with me that night. That's totally what happened.
And good. You can see that video. It's on my page. I should be still on my page. And then we went to this hotel room where we were there for 2 days. And like everything is cool, and then things started getting weird. It started getting like, you're the same needy cleanness. You're not defending me. You're not helping me. You're not the thing. Even though I'm like the only person helping her. So she's
not true. Okay. So we went to the next hotel, which was at the actual convention. He has such complicated feelings about me that he wanted to use me for my money and resources, but he didn't want to be around me because apparently I'm too much of a turn on. Okay. Okay. So he was constantly ditching me, right? Like we're supposed to be hanging out as an undercover magazine team at this convention, and he kept ditching me. So on night one, Bernie was going to be speaking at the Chicano Latino caucus for the California Democratic State Party. He did a 2-minute speech. I have that. Like I literally was like 2 feet in front of Bernie. I got the whole damn speech. Don skipped town. He ended up finding a lobbyist party and hanging out with some lobbyists while this was going on. He met up with me later. After the caucus meetings, we did the hospitality suites, right? And when we were doing the hospitality suites, we ran into Shawnee Badger and her, at then time, fiance, Ankur Patel. Tim Johnson Cotran came up to Shawnee and hugged her right in front of me. That was a violation of the stipulation agreement I had in place that I had gotten in court in March earlier that year. I turned around, per the stipulation agreement, we're supposed to turn around and walk the other way, away from each other. In an environment that large, he should have been 100 yards away from me. I turned around and left. Don just bailed. He didn't even help me out in this situation. So I turned around and left. Tim then stalked me into the next hospitality suite, which I think was like the weed party or whatever. I saw him follow me. He was within 5 feet of me. So I left the room. I ran into Clarice Hoffman, who is the treasurer of Deepak. And I burst into tears and I'm like, I'm getting stalked. I can't be here. This is ridiculous. Don was nowhere to be found at this point. And Victor Valladares put his phone in his pocket and tried to record me while I was crying. He threatened me with that video the next night. Threatened to leak it. Clarice and I went back to our hotel because all the Orange County people somehow ended up staying at the same hotel. So we took the bus back, the shuttle back together, and we left. Don did not come with me. He was not at the hotel with me. He actually snuck off to go smoke hookah with Tanya Singh. And I think her name's Allie White or something. He went off to go smoke hookah, and he was texting me as well as in a private chat with me at the same time, explaining away how he was having such a great time partying right then, when I was like, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you say something to him when he did that?
Like, not only am I going out of my way and taking a ton of heat to back her, but I'm also getting like attacked relentlessly like a naggy wife that I didn't want, that I was just there to help the person. Now, at the same time, she's constantly telling me, and this is, if she ever posts like my meltdowns on her, which I have melted down on her, is because she's constantly telling me what to do. She was constantly being like, you should do this, you should do that, like naggy. And I'm like, look, you were my editor for like a second. but you don't tell me what to do with general strategy. If you want to tell me how to like write an article better or make some particular thing better, then that's totally fine. But the idea that they're like, she's like trying to tell me how to do everything in my life, control every act.
You are a dysfunctional human being, Don. You rely on everybody else to live. You are not capable of supporting yourself or your family. Nagging, 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 nagging. Do you not listen to yourself speak? Do you not listen to how misogynistic this is, what you're saying? I was telling you how to be successful. I was telling you how to support your allies. And you have constantly, over and over again, chosen the wrong path, chosen to ally with conspiracy theorists, chosen to smoke hookah over doing the right thing. Over and over and over again. I have text messages from this turd where he says that he would be my witness in court for what happened at KDEM convention. And then he completely backed out of it. This guy is so unreliable and so shifty that there's no way any of us can trust him for anything.
Aspect of what's happening. And I was like, this is not healthy. Like, what you're doing isn't what I want. It's not what I want from a friend. It's not what I want from a boss. It's not what I want from a thing. So I broke off and did Progressive Insider. Now, while I'm doing Progressive Insider, she is again slandering me, doing this exact same thing. Because she had even threatened at one point after the convention that, oh no, I missed a crucial part of this story. Excuse me, I missed a crucial part of the story. So we're at the hotel room. The first night at the hotel room, I don't really remember what happened. And then we just went to sleep. I think I was trying to get my computer working. I was having some internet issues or something. But the second night is really memorable because she was really, really drunk. And she was being really obnoxious and yelling at me and slamming doors.
I was literally in bed asleep when he came back to the room after smoking hookah with Tanya Singh. He is absolutely making this up. And the fact that he doesn't remember anything from this weekend other than the shit he made up is really telling. By the way, Dawn, your boobs are showing. You look fucking gray. You've clearly put on weight. Yeah, I'm going to body shame your ass.
And screaming and I was literally in bed. Like, I regret not getting a videotape of it. I was literally in bed going, I'm asleep, because I fall asleep really, really easily. And in hindsight, maybe falling asleep next to a person having a conniption fit isn't the best idea. But at the moment, I was just like,
even if he's confusing this for Saturday night, I was nowhere in the hotel. I did not come back to the hotel room until very late at night on Saturday night, because that was when Rusty Hicks won the chair seat. And I was in the lobby with Ada Briseno, Annie Wright, Jeff Letourneau, Clarice Hoffman, pretty much the entire board from the Democratic Party of Orange County. We were celebrating Rusty Hicks' win in the lobby. So he completely made all of this bullshit up. I have witnesses.
Just need to get that out of here. Like, this is, I can't leave. And she is melting down and just slamming. And I don't really know what is going on with any of this. And I just am like quiet and think. Now, I kind of just buzzed out the next day. I don't really remember. Again, I was so frustrated the night before. I remember going to the convention and it's like a total blur. I had to go through my videos. I know I made videos while I was there. And I know that I made like emails and things.
Oh yeah, he sure did. He made a bunch of videos of how he was sneaking off and hanging out with Allie White and hanging out with Tanya Singh. And he was like, he wasn't, by the way, his entire pitch to me for why he was on that, why he needed to come on that trip was because he wanted to get in touch with Jeff Weaver and the Bernie team so that he could get a job on the Bernie Sanders campaign. He made absolutely no fucking effort while he was there to actually get a job. And that was his entire purpose for using my money and resources for being there.
Yeah, so I could like really go through and put together my day. But she said to me a couple weeks later after we were like, I was like, look, this was not healthy. I don't want any part of this. I probably was not that nice when I said it because I was just like flipping out. And I won't say that I haven't like flipped out on her, but no, please, I've been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and just pushed. So, so she tells me that she is going to tell people that I raped her in the hotel room, and I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Yeah, and then she starts doing the psycho. Yeah, you did that. And then she starts.
He totally made that shit up and started dropping it in a ton of chats with our mutuals. That this was his distraction campaign. I never fucking said this. He literally made this shit up because I approached him and said, I need you to be a witness when I sue Tim again, because I want to take him back to court for what he did to me at KDM. And he refused to do it. And all I can think of is that the reason that he refused to do it is that he was afraid it was going to come out that we had a fling, and he was afraid it was going to hurt his marriage. That's all I can think of. I mean, I can only hypothesize as to why he acted the way he did, but I absolutely never made a claim that he raped me. I've never claimed that anything that we did together wasn't anything other than consensual. I've never made this claim.
Saying it like it's real, like threatening me like it's going to happen. Now, this is in text. I have to unblock her on Facebook to get into Messenger, or maybe I already saved screenshots on my other computer, but I haven't warmed up my other computer in a while. So I got to take some time to do this. I'm not in a huge rush, other than I know I have her threatening me with doing this at one point, and she had this whole meltdown again with the same women, because one of them actually won't talk to me anymore. She actually.
Folks, I just, okay, I'm going to pause here again. This will be part 2. This is a long ass video. I'm not even halfway through it, you guys. Ladies, he's constantly courting ladies online. He's also constantly attacking ladies online. I need you to understand that this dude is unable to maintain any real friendships with any of the females in his life because he's so destructive and he's so duplicitous. For fuck's sake, I literally just asked him to go to court for me and be a witness, and this was his response. He came up with this entire smear campaign against me, and he's been putting it forward ever since 2019. And I was literally his best ally. And a lot of you know that. A lot of you know that I was his best ally. I don't know if I'm going to get through this whole video, but this is part 2 for you. This is part 2.